So as we jump into a more granular view of the platinum real estate process, the first thing that would be helpful is to talk to your seller about your VIP sales team. You don't want to be that lone wolf out there, and you want to be able to show all of the different service providers that you have a relationship with that could help them sell their home. The way that this program is set up, and in the whole complete program, you'll be able to see that each of the boxes typically has an image of some kind that you can modify. That was just a standard image and text, so that you can come in and leave yourself notes or things that you might want to leave to the seller when you send the seller this presentation. And with it, you can have links out to things like what is a jumbo loan in this particular case, so that the seller has that as they're reviewing this document. The other thing that you can do is have relationships with your title company. Go straight to their website with information about, like, what is title insurance, what is escrow, how's the money held, things that your seller might be interested in knowing. This is also a really great place to discuss things like how is title held, what happens if they have a problem with title. A good time as you're doing the presentation to ask them how they're holding title right now, because if they have a trust, you would want to know that in advance. You would also like to know if there's more than one person signing or more than one person who owns the property. Maybe the seller you're talking to right now isn't the only owner, and that's the place to find it. Your photographer, you could show off images of all the cool stuff your photographer is going to do, and this is where you would advertise yourself. This particular image is just Realtor.com's image, but you can see you can come in and leave links for the seller when you send them the presentation for things like going to your Facebook page, review videos that you might have already had, pictures of your current listings, different things like that. And all they have to do is just, click on the button, and or you can do this during the presentation and show them things like, well, here's my Facebook page, and here's the reviews that people have said about me. I got 5-star reviews on Facebook, and the last one was very recent, and he loved the fact that we helped him over the years, things like that. You could talk about your marketing company, etc. So that's the VIP sales team area. Next, we're going to walk through a presentation kind of in the same manner that you would have done, without this process. When I first started in real estate in the late 80s, we had little binders with flip charts on them, and this is much nicer. More than likely, you've already created a CMA, and depending on whether you're going to do a 2-step presentation where you do the CMA presentation first and then come back afterwards with a listing presentation, or do them all in one, which is the way that this is set up, you could come in here and just, again, click on the image or go over to a link, pull up your CMA, which is probably in the cloud somewhere, and just immediately start talking to them about the value of their house, who you are, all of that good kind of stuff. Now, this part I wouldn't get into as much because you want to do that during the process that we're going to do later. But you can show them the comps and pricing and get all of that stuff to kind of get an idea, are we in the right place? How are things working? And once you've come to an agreement with them about that, obviously at this point, now you get to talk to them about all of the steps that you're going to do. Here's where you get a kind of a pre-sell yes. You're just going to talk to them about getting the listing signed. Of course, we're going to do that, right, Mr. Seller? And it talks about you providing them all the needed requirements for the state for disclosures and things like that. Then you're going to talk to them about, after the listing agreement is signed, you're going to come in and do a walkthrough of the home. And during the walkthrough, you're going to talk to them about things like features, special features they may have that you can use for marketing, any red flags that might come up, ideas that you might have for staging. And if somewhere during the walkthrough there were some red flags where you needed some work done, then you're going to come out and help them with the service providers, again, structural pests, licensed workers, things like that, to be able to make sure that those red flags are taken care of before the property goes on the market. Then you're going to make sure that the repairs are finished, and then you're going to make sure that the property is staged. And this is, if you didn't need to go through those first steps, this is where you would talk to them about what staging is, how it's an art. You can show them pictures of before and after, And I've also found some amazingly good staging videos on YouTube that you could plug in here. And they are either from staging companies that are rather generic, or you can get staging videos actually from, other real estate companies that are across the nation. It's not like if you're in California and you show them a picture of a Florida real estate agent, they're not going to call that guy. Still images are, again, you're going to talk to them about how you're going to make pictures for them. And this is where I would take the images from my photographer and show them an example of some of his work. These particular images were all done by Lucchesi Media, and I thank him for allowing me to use these. And so good idea to have that relationship with your photographer, as well as someone that can do your virtual tours. You can actually show them virtual tours of your listings in the past, or just an example of virtual tours from your photographer. Next, you're going to talk to them about creating content for the MLS, because this is one of those behind the scenes things that most people don't have any clue about. And in the MetrolistMLS area, there's actually over 105 data fields that you can put into a property. And these are the kind of things that you want to talk to them about. How you can create the best selling psychology to design the marketing to go to the public, but you also have to design that psychology to go to the other agents, things like that. Again, showing your unique selling proposition and doing things that you always do, but you don't ever tell them about it. And then at the point that the listing becomes public, this happens to be just a Metrolist ad that the public would see, and talk to them about all of the things that you do to make that happen. Now, this next section on building anticipation would be great if your MLS allows it to put this over here before creating the content for MLS, but this particular MLS doesn't allow it. So what we would do is create a coming soon ad, a digital display ad here. Sorry for the out of focus ad. And we would talk to them about ad creation, the calls to action, how the ads are going to be created. And I've actually put together another map of all of the advertising that you can show the seller that you can do. You would create a countdown page that says, coming soon. So you'd have a website that's coming soon, and then you would run some digital display ads specifically to smartphones within a radius of the property. So the next step as we come back around is, once you've got that all working, now's the time to come in and start working on some final advertising for a week or so before you start building up the next demand. So you could talk to them about having a drone made and what that looks like. Obviously have a relationship with a company that has the ability to be able to do this in advance, so you know what your costs are going to be. You can talk to them about the bird's eye view of a drone. You can talk to them about 3D virtual tours and what that's all about. So those are some more add-ons. Then after, say, a week or so, now you're going to talk to them about building up the final demand and sending everybody to the open house. So in the demand feature, what we want to do is we talk to them about having an outdoor sign and the value of that, social media posts with imaging and videos, where you're going to syndicate the property out to, all the different places you might syndicate. You can also do notes in here on how you're going to boost it, those kind of things. Your YouTube channel, Facebook Messenger, chatbots, and sending all of these people to a customized website that would be something like 123mainstreet.com would be the best. And that address and domain, that website would have all of the features of the property on it and be specifically for that website, not your company's generic website. There will be a retargeting pixel, so when they come to the website, we can follow that person and continue to advertise to them with digital display ads that go from here back to this domain, and also send them to open house information. We can create smartphone ads. Again, this is the stats from NAR for 2019 that talk about where buyers come from. So you can discuss that with them. You can talk to them about running their ad in specific demographic groups where we can actually have your ad show up on CNN, the Weather Channel, different kinds of things like that. You could do that. We could talk to them about creating ads that are based on level of income, age groups, employment, even zip codes, or specific URLs. If you have a property that is a golf property, for example, you might want to make sure that you're advertising in URLs that are based around golf. All of this is made to drive traffic to your open house. This discusses with the seller all the things that you're going to do at the open house. You know, how you're going to help them with things like a virtual clipboard so you can gather the visitor's information, multiple signs that you're going to put out, setting up flowers, water, cookies, candles, music, lighting, talking to the neighbors, touring the home with a visitor to make sure and answer their questions, all the things that you would normally do in an open house in a way that now the seller gets to see that it's really happening. And then you talk to them about if this is done in the right market, then you can hopefully get multiple offers, and what your goal is to make that happen. Then you're going to review the offers and discuss with them these different terms on the offers. And if they reject all the offers, there's nothing that works for them, then you just bring the process back around to here and just do it again. But you just build the demand back up. If they do get an accepted offer, then that sends them over to escrow when you start opening escrow. And here you would link out to a different map that discusses with them the processes in escrow. And you don't have to show that to them, obviously, during the listing presentation, but if you have it there and let them know that you're going to go over it with them, that's a great tool to have during the listing presentation. Now, the other things that you can do once the seller has gone through this process and they go, oh, well, you know, what's that going to cost me? Or you've said, hey, I need to have XYZ. Again, I don't want to get in trouble with the Department of Real Estate for giving you a number, but whatever number you decide is your commission, and if they say that's too high, this is where you get to step down and step back and go, oh, okay, well, let me show you my other process. And that's when you can drop them back into another map. In this case, I call this one the Premier Sales, and it takes out some of that advertising and marketing and shows them, okay, well, we could do this. We could take away all those things, and then you can start building out whatever it is that the seller wants in different ways. So very easy to move back and forth between the two maps just by clicking these little buttons right here. And then as I finish this out, we'll be able to click through and show the seller a summary of all of the marketing pieces in the Platinum map so that they can get a picture of the value of everything that you're adding into the Platinum map from a retail value standpoint. So that's it. Have fun, increase your commission, create your unique selling proposition, and get more listings.